welcome to our final Hope for Harris Huddle. If this is your first time here, my name is Tracie.
And I am
This is
Cheryl.
my beautiful wife, Cheryl. And this is our final Hope for Harris Huddle. Welcome, welcome. We're so excited to be here. This is our final Hope for Harris Huddle. How are you feeling about that?
Excited.
Yeah?
Yeah. Really excited. How about you? I have both.
Oh, you took it, okay.
I was going to take them, but I
I
didn't make
love
it
it.
there.
Well, you guys, we're really excited. Like we started this journey, I would say probably now it's been about 2 months ago when we decided like, okay, we want to do something that's big and helpful and supportive of Vice President Harris on her run for the presidency. And so we launched this Hope for Harris philosophy and just kind of a mission work for the last couple of months. And it's been very busy the last couple of months for sure. But today is our final huddle. And this is just a chance for folks to come together, for us to have speakers to come and just really talk about why this election is important, what's at stake, and anything else they want to share as it relates to the candidacy that we are supporting as a couple. We always tell people, we don't care who you vote for. We just say that we want you to vote. So the importance of voting as a part of our constitutional right, we want you to uphold that. Now, with that being said, we're going to talk to you, of course, we have been about why we are supporting Kamala Harris for president. And we're excited to do that tonight as well. Let's talk about our mission real quick and just kind of what we've done, where we've been, where we're going, and just kind of our culminating event. I think we're going to be you're going to be really excited.
You're going to be
this.
really excited.
But when we launched Hope for Harris, we wanted to really use our social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, everywhere, Facebook.
For something really good.
Yeah, to really
meaningful.
To really drive like voter engagement and raise money. And then what have you used social media for in this election campaign?
What do you mean? Besides that?
I'm just saying, like you've really stepped out and talked about.
Heavens, it's something that was totally new and different for me because I've always had opinions, of course, and but I was never publicly political. So, but everything is at stake in this election for us, and so we decided we absolutely cannot be silent at a time like this. So here we are, speaking out.
That's right. And so through this, we leveraged our social media community. We call it the TC fam, which is Tracie and Cheryl. And that really, it represents a vibrant and diverse community that we have, an inclusive community at TikTok and Instagram and all the other social media platforms. And we just really are all coming together to really talk about the importance of freedom and democracy and acceptance and love and belonging, because ultimately everyone wants to feel like they have a place.
Absolutely. And we came up with a special name for our TC fam during this time. Actually, it was Mel, which I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
But the TC Famila was born.
That's right.
Out of the TC fam and all the supporters for Kamala. So that's been kind of fun.
Yeah, for sure. A fun part of this journey.
Yeah.
And so through this journey, we've definitely learned that together we make a big difference. And a lot of times people think, well, I just have one vote. So how can one vote matter in a campaign with millions of votes? And so I think you have the most poignant way of reminding people of the importance of that one vote.
I used to think that it's one vote. What is one vote going to do? How is it going to make a difference? And then I realized that it is the only time where when you walk in and you cast your vote, it carries the same weight as the president of the United States, as your boss, as your mother, as whoever it is. That you look up to. You think their voice might be louder than yours, but it's not in that moment. And so make sure you are heard.
And we have not early voted yet. It has been a wild week, but we are going to. We're not even going to get a chance to.
I passed the voting area for our neighborhood, and there were tons of people.
That's so exciting. We definitely will, before early voting ends, get that done. So today, you guys, is our last Hope for Harris Huddle. We have 3 guests here tonight, which we're excited to introduce you to in just a couple of moments. But we have, of course, we are still continuing to raise funds. We are at the finish line for Vice President Harris and her campaign for president. But also tonight, we have a very special guest, Stacey Knoell, who's running for Senate in Kansas, District 23. Stacey is actually also my cousin, so it's a little extra special. So I told her tonight that every dollar that we raise through our huddle tonight, that we're going to match that donation just to support her in her efforts. So $1, $2, 50 cents, whatever, lean to the left and go Stacey Knoell for Senate and show love for my cousin Stacey, who's going to be joining us in just a moment. So far, we've raised $9,624 over the last couple of months from TC Fam. So thank you for your contributions directly to the Harris Victory Fund. We appreciate all of your donations, and I know that she does as well. So
it is too close. Yeah, I don't like that feeling. You know, it's so easy to get because we're so excited to think that the whole world is excited, but they may not be excited, you know, in the same way we are. And so we cannot lose our momentum and our steam at this point. I was telling Tracy the other day, I was sitting and looking out the window and I could see the entire Dallas, like the skyline and all, 180 degrees. And I just thought all of a sudden that if you divide that down the middle, and one half is the lights are out, and the other half is, you know, lit up, that really was an awakening for me to think that's what our United States looks like right now, completely divided down the middle. And there's a lot of darkness on that side.
That's right. And there's a lot at stake, you guys. We've talked about the importance of what's at stake in this election. And so we're looking forward to, you know, hearing from some of our special guests here this evening. All right. So what can you do? We talked about Forward with Four. It was at first, it was about getting people to vote. And now we've shifted, baby, right? What are we challenging them to do?
To carpool in a whole new way. Everyone should be registered to vote at this point. I think it's all been cut off. So what can we do now? We can get our friends, we can get our families, we can get our neighbors, and we can get strangers to the polls to vote.
Make it a party.
Yeah.
Like do like an election and we're going to vote and do a vlog or do some videos. Y'all been sending us videos and pictures of going to vote and with your stickers, and keep those coming. We love to see that happening. And we just challenge you to go forward with 4 people. Just 4 people is.
Well, I was thinking 4 in each category.
You want 4 strangers?
Well, I said 4 friends, 4 family members, 4 neighbors.
So 16, my wife said, not 4, 16. Tell them, baby.
Yeah, 16.
16. Look, I'm saying 4. Can you just get 4 people?
You can
any of
the
these
strangers if you need to, but friends, family, and neighbors, we should be able to pull that out.
All right. So you guys, we're so excited now to introduce our first guest. Some of you may know this, but not everyone does. But Myneca Ojo is actually my sister. I know that she's a little bit prettier than I am, I think. You know, I'm digging her little short hair. I think I'm going shorter and shorter and shorter. But I'm so excited. Myneca, you can come off now so we can see your face. My sister, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, just her professional space. I can talk a lot about her personally, all good things, of course, but I just want to just tell you, I'm just proud of her. She's just an amazing human being, and she is an entrepreneur. She's a civic leader. She's worked in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space for a long time, working in Pennsylvania and Maryland and Texas. She was the first Black mayor in her town in Pennsylvania, and it was really great to be a part of that process with her, and knocking on doors and getting folks to vote. And she recently served as a city manager and CEO. She's city manager, the CEO and chief operating officer for the city of Seat Pleasant, Maryland, which is just outside of Washington. She's in Pennsylvania, you guys, and you all know Pennsylvania is a very important state. And Myneca has spent her entire career in the political space. She's very well versed, studied political science in college, got her master's in leadership and organizational development from Stanford. She's just, the list goes on. She's a badass. And so happy to call her my sister. And so Myneca, we'd love for you to just kind of share some words with the community here on TikTok and on our webinar today about the importance of selection, or anything you want to share.
Well, first of all, thank you and love you, sisters. Miss you much. This is so important what Tracie and Cheryl is doing. in supporting Harris and just really, just putting themselves out there to support a candidate because this is an important race. So as I talk to you all today in this very short amount of time, I want to impart just 5 things that I would like you to focus on. Number one, I want to make that appeal, absolutely, that whatever you do, you get out there and vote. It is so important for you to go to the polls. Now, I believe there are 24 states that have mail-in ballots. And so there are several different processes because people often register to vote. They often sometimes do absentee ballots. In Texas, I know you have early voting where you can go to various locations to do your voting. In Pennsylvania, for example, we only have the mail-in ballot. So we have to go to our Secretary of State's office, ask them to contact our local county office, and they send the ballot to us. Then we get that ballot in the mail, and then you have to mail it back. That's another process. In Pennsylvania, you can do that up until November 5th. And so it's important that no matter what you do, that you complete that ballot and you do it. But if you are able to go to the polls on November 5th, go and do just as Tracie and Cheryl said. Whomever you can get to the polls, it's just important that you get them there because this is an election that I have not seen ever before. The differences are stark. But there, believe it or not, are still a lot of people out there that are undecided. And undecided votes usually become non-voters. So we don't want that to happen. But that's the first thing. Just absolutely get out there and vote because it's so important, and this election is so important. And also those down races, down ballot races, your state senates, your House of Representatives, your mayor's races, all of those races that you will be that you have an opportunity to participate in, it's important. The second thing is that what I have always been aware of is that many people aren't really familiar with the platforms of the candidates. And it becomes a personality contest. Well, I don't like them. I don't know them. I don't know. If you're to really examine what both the candidates are saying, you will see and understand what their platform is, what they intend to do when they get into office. That's the most important thing. You have to become educated in this process. I know it's very annoying seeing all the ads. If you're like me, you're getting thousands of emails and you're preaching to the choir, but you're getting hundreds of emails and you're inundated with mail in your mailboxes, but it's so important for you to get involved. And if you don't understand the platforms, it becomes races of personalities, and it gets to a point where some of the candidates choose not to even speak about it. They refuse to debate. They refuse to put out what they're saying they're going to do. They just run strictly on a party affiliation. And that is scary because that is where democracy doesn't work because you're always supposed to be voting on platforms. The third thing is to understand what's important to you. Really just dig deep down inside yourself, understand what those values are, what's important to you. And then vote and make conscious decisions on that. And then finally, understand what's important for everyone else. How do you live and be a part of a civic society? And how can you vote, make conscious decisions that allows others to benefit from that as well? So just understanding those pieces there is really important in the process. And it's so important that we just do not turn a blind eye. Things can change in a shot with us. And we've seen it happen in ways that we never thought. We expect our politicians or those that are elected into office to go in to make decisions for ourselves, right? Sometimes they make decisions and they make power moves that are inconsistent with the practices of where they are. A good example is what happened in the Senate when we lost Bader Ginsburg, RGB, when we lost her, and Mitch McConnell decided that they were going to hold that Supreme Court decision and not allow Barack Obama to make that, because he was a lame duck president. He was already on his way out, and they were going to allow Trump to make that. And so we know the ramifications of that and the final outcomes of the Supreme Court becoming a extremely conservative court. And just in a shock, we lost those opportunities for reproductive rights for women. Women now don't have the rights, all the rights that I had. Women now no longer have those rights. And it's remanded back to the states under Dodd to make those decisions for you. So if you live in a state like Texas, if you live in Oklahoma, we obviously know what those decisions would make. And we're talking about a woman's ability to have her freedom to create a family in the way that she sees fit, and also her reproductive rights, and that's very scary because that impacts women. But most importantly, if you're not in our range, if you're in my age range, it will impact my children for years to come. Another aspect of not being involved politically and understanding what's going on in these races is that it's important to know that whomever becomes president of the United States also will be bringing in a vice president that's more likely to be in the same party. And that person that is vice president will become the officiant over the US Senate. And so, as you know, historically, Kamala Harris is our vice president, and she has the record number of tiebreakers in the Senate, because the Senate is exactly 50-50. And so she has 33, and her predecessor, Pence, had only 13, and it goes down from there because the Senate is so divided. But just to illustrate, those tie-breaking votes are major decisions that have impacted our lives, that have socially impacted us. And just to give you an example of one of his votes, he was the tiebreaker vote to bring in Betsy DeVos as the Secretary of Education. I just had to throw that out there for Tracy. So it's really important that you understand what's going on, and that you're actually going out there to vote, no matter who you're voting for. We're hoping you're voting for Kamala Harris. She is the candidate of choice for me. She's the candidate of choice for many of people who do not see that there is a clear difference. For most of us, we see that there's a clear difference between the two candidates. And if you understand democracy is something you're constantly fighting for. We're constantly fighting for voting rights. Obviously, now we know that it was the Supreme Court, Roe v. Wade was not set in stone. They were able to overturn that. So now we're fighting for reproductive and women's rights. And we will continue to fight, because freedom is something that we always have to fight for. And there's always someone out there that wants to take that away. And they will do it by separating us, segregating us. It's the us versus them. It's these people are taking away from us. This is America, So we need to vote you in, because we got to make sure something's happening. That's not happening. Injustice anywhere is injustice for everyone, says Martin Luther King. So it's important to realize this as well. And as we move into this, the lack of participation in these races have been extraordinary. And I still continue to be totally surprised about the people who have not made decisions. Those are the non-voters, if they're courageous enough to come out and say that. So TC fam, if you have an opportunity to speak, make sure that you're giving them the information that they need to know to go to the polls. Make sure that you're imparting on them the importance of them voting. No matter who they vote for, their voice needs to be heard. But hopefully, they're voting for Kamala Harris, who I believe is the best choice for America to move us forward. Because leadership matters. It absolutely matters. And who you have in there. Do you want someone in office that is a leader, that has joy, that sees the bright future of America, that can move us forward and set the tone for America? Or do you want someone in there who will talk about us versus them? And we're going to just eliminate them because us is important. Historically, there is no, there is no story that's been told in the world that has given one group of people total and absolute power equally. It never happens. So as I close today, I just want to say that we have a choice. We have an opportunity to make a difference in this world, not only historically, but to move this country forward in a way where we can continue to see the joy, we can see each other advance, we can see each other become what we want to become, because we all are supporting equity throughout the entire process. And I believe Kamala will do it. She is our rising star. She is the one that will give us hope. And we've seen it happen before. We know what the lack of hope looks like. But we also want to bring those into the fold too that don't believe that this message is for them. Because we know sometimes they believe that it's for the other people. It's for the Black folks or the women. What about me? I'm a white guy, what have you. I don't believe that message is not for them. I believe that message is for them as well. And so they have to understand and they have to know that this is the direction that we're going into. We don't need to go in that other direction. We've been there and we've seen the ramifications of him being there. Affirmative action being reverted back. Women's reproductive rights being reverted back. Voting Rights Act being on the table. So, as I have said in many times, I was not born with the right to vote. I didn't get that until I was 3 years old. So you're talking to someone who historically was a part of that. And we will always continue to fight. I believe that MLK knew just in his last days that we will always have to continue to fight to keep these rights. And we can never rest. And what that means is that you out there, TC fam, and all of your supporters and all your family and all your friends need to get out there and vote and make the right decisions for you, but most importantly, make the right decisions for America. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Myneca. That
Thank
was
you, Myneca.
poignant. Like, just taking us on that journey of like where it was and then like how history is looking to repeat itself if we don't intervene and do something, major. We talk about the right to be married. I mean, Myneca, I never thought I would get married in my entire life, and I did, and now I want to hold on to it for dear life. And just a thought of being a regret. It's like, how can you support someone who doesn't support who we are as a couple? And that's a challenge, for us, and so we are certainly aware of that and the importance of it.
Can I say one more thing too? Because this is my family here, y'all. And for you all to take a stand and to use your platform in this way is very, very courageous, because we know that's next on the list. They'll be going after LGBTQ rights, saying you don't have a right to do this. And Your marriage is the most beautiful marriage I've ever seen. I love you all. And I want to continue to see that be okay. And that people choose who they want to be with. And no government should have a right to take that away from them.
Amen. Because they don't believe in it. It's just the most crazy thing to me. So
Yeah.
thank you, Myneca. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Stick around. Our cousin Stacey is next. And Stacey, you can go ahead and come on, and we're gonna talk about you for just a moment. Oh, see if you all can see you here. There we go. There she is,
Can you hear me?
Stacey. Yes, we can hear you. Now
Oh,
we can't see.
fantastic.
Okay, here you go. You guys, I
am.
mentioned, a few minutes ago, my cousin Stacey is running for Kansas City Senate District 23, I think is what it's called. And I'm just
Kansas State
proud of
Senate.
her.
Yeah, Kansas State Senate.
Kansas State Senate District 23, right?
Yes.
Got it. So you guys, I'm so proud of Stacey. First of all, just to see how she has really like busted her bottom to get out there, to meet voters, to talk about her platform, to talk about what's important and what motivates her to really be in this race. I'm just so super proud of her. And so you all see a QR code next to her face while I talk about her for a minute. I do encourage you to support her. We have a week and a half left to go before official election results. $1, $2, $5 to help my cousin, it would be appreciated. We are going to match whatever donations we get tonight, plus probably some more after that, because we're so proud of you and your efforts. And so my cousin Stacey, she's also a badass. Everybody on the screen today are just badasses. But she currently serves as the executive director of the Kansas African Americans Affairs Commission. In addition to that, she sits on the Johnson County Fine Arts Commission. She's president of the board of directors of the Kansas Black Leadership Council, vice chair of the Kansas 250 Commission, which is charged with overseeing Kansas's celebration of the 250th anniversary of America. She's a bachelor's degree in art history from University of Iowa, a degree in deaf communications and interpreter training from St. Louis Community College. She was a teacher, so we definitely connect there too as well for Kansas City School District. And she was a sign language interpreter at Blue Springs South High School. She taught math. She has a handsome husband, Troy, 2 beautiful girls, and a dog, Twix. And now she is running for Kansas State Senate. So I'm so proud of you, Stacey. Happy for you to share words with our online community today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation to come to this. I was so excited when the email first came in. I'm like, is this actually Tracie? Is this my cousin? And so thank you for the invitation. I also want to apologize. I may have bad sound quality. I'm currently at one of my daughter's school events. So we had to, you know how it is when you're a mom, you have to do 85,000 things. And my husband and I divided and conquered to try to figure out who was going to go where. But I really do appreciate everything that cousin Myneca said earlier about the importance of paying attention, the importance of helping other people pay attention. I am one of those races. The Kansas State Senate is one of those races that's considered a down ballot race, right? So there's a lot of attention at the top of the ticket right now, and rightfully so. I think, we should pay attention to who's running for president. But what I have tried to encourage everyone, because we know for a fact that there's going to be a lot of Republicans who just can't stand Trump, who are going to cross over to vote for Kamala. But I've been telling everyone, unless you vote Democrat all the way down the ballot, it's a moot point. I live in Kansas, and right now in Kansas we have a Democratic governor, but there's a Republican supermajority in the Kansas legislature, and so it's very difficult for the governor to get anything accomplished. And that would be the same thing at the national level if there's a Democratic president, but a divided Congress, and that just doesn't work out in the long run. My race is one of 4. There are 40 senators in the Kansas Senate, and we are 2 seats away from breaking the supermajority. I live in what's called Johnson County, and there are 4 flippable seats in Johnson County. So in my county alone, we have the ability to break the supermajority. My race is one of the targeted races where even the Republican outgoing incumbent, there's a Republican incumbent, but he's not running again. Interestingly enough, I think one of the reasons he's not running again is because eventually he started to vote with the Democratic governor, and the Republican leadership, he was like persona non grata. They took him off committees. I mean, you know, they started treating him so badly that he's like, I'm out. He has said that this seat is ripe to flip. And he called the Democratic minority leader. He was like, I could tell Stacey's working harder than the guy who's running against her. So the seats, these down ballot races are so important. I really appreciate the fact that you gave me a chance to come out and talk about my race, but I don't know where everyone on the call lives. Everyone, I know some people are, well, obviously I know Myneca's in Pennsylvania and you're down in Texas. If everyone takes a second and look at their down ballot races, because $10 donated to Kamala Harris, that's great. She's got millions and millions of dollars. But $10 donated to a state Senate race or to a state House race or like some of those county commission races, that's money that's going directly to a candidate who I promise you will know that you've donated $10. And Kamala's not going to know your $10 comes in. But if someone donates $10 to me, I'm writing them a thank you card. Like, thank you. Because everything is just, it's expensive. And these down ballot races, it's that candidate out there just making phone calls and calling people. The down ballot races are also very important for reasons that Myneca mentioned. If so much in the Supreme Court level, they're kicking it back to the states, right? States' rights, which we all know started as a racist thing in the first place. But if a lot of these decisions are going to be kicked back to the states, it's going to be very important to pay attention to who is in these state legislatures. We know that there are conservative state legislatures that are doing horrible things with women's reproductive rights. Kansas is ripe to start. Well, Kansas is ripe to start doing some crazy stuff with LGBTQ rights. They were going after trans kids last year. And the governor vetoed, and they managed to sustain vetoes, but they were sustaining vetoes like by 1 and 2 votes. It was like a fight every single time. So if a lot of these issues are going to start to get kicked back to states' rights, it's those down ballot races get very, very important very quickly. I think those are kind of the major things I wanted to cover, and just to thank you again for the opportunity to come on and just talk about my race, talk about the importance of down ballot races, talk about the importance of civic engagement and talking to your friends and neighbors, and asking people if they have a plan to vote, right? If it's early voting, sorry, I've got some background noise. If it's early voting going on, thank you. If it's early voting going on, or if people need help filling out ballots, if you have advanced ballots, then, oh, and I should say with advanced ballots, sometimes they're called mail-in ballots. Make a plan to get those back by hand. Even the Republican Secretary of State in Kansas has told people do not mail those back because the mail is moving slowly. So if you have an advanced ballot, make sure that you make a plan to get that back in person, like walk it to an external drop box or get it back to a election office, things of that nature. That's been my my clarion call since the beginning. Make sure you have a plan to vote, help other people develop a plan to vote, and support those down ballot races all the way down.
Stacey, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you want me to say anything else? I don't know.
No, that's great. I was just thinking, I'm so glad that you mentioned that because a lot of attention is paid to the top of the ticket, which is, typically, but we have a really tight race in Texas right now between Colin Allred and Ted Cruz, where we're really primed to maybe flip this seat, which is going to be super important if Harris gets into the White House, that we have this additional senator that's in the Democratic Party. So just the importance of that down ballot race. And I want to just implore you all again, you guys, even if it's $2 or $5 or $10 or $15, like this next week and a half stretch that Stacey has to secure this seat, she's going to appreciate that so much. And I just appreciate you coming on board, and you got a chance to meet Stacey when you went to the ball.
Yes, at the cookout.
She went to the cookout, y'all. So
you were the first person I met.
That's true.
She was right at the entrance. Yeah.
So we appreciate you, Stacey. So proud of you, and we'll be in touch. Okay. Thank you,
Stacey.
All right. All right, you guys, you're hanging in there. If you're on TikTok and you're like, well, I don't know how to contribute to her campaign. If you go to the link in our bio, we have a link there that goes directly to her. So any amount, $2, $5, whatever, goes directly to her. And she will be able to use that support. So I know she appreciates it.
And we're going to match it.
That's right.
Although I will tell you that the individual limit is $1,000. So if you have $1,000 sitting around, there you go.
Look, what do we say we're gonna do? No, I'm kidding.
We're going to match it.
500. You said,
put
you
your
said 500, which was great, but yeah, the individual limit is a 1,000.
It's good to know. All right, you guys. And our last guest speaker today is B. Randall. And so B, you can go ahead and come off the screen. Some of you, I had a chance to hear some of B's or one of B's poems when we posted on TikTok, actually, I think we did. And it was just like people were just going crazy, like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing. And we were like, we definitely going to have her for our Hope for Harris Huddle. She actually wrote something very specific for the Hope for Harris campaign. We're really excited. So B is has tons of accolades, but she's currently the host of Poetry Smash and Poets and Jazz at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters. She's celebrated for her role as the host and producer of In the Words of a Sister, which is the longest running all-female cast poetry show. And I've personally been to that probably 7 or 8 times, and it's always an amazing experience. Driven by her passion for inspiring others, she launched her first touring show, Poetry is My Praise, in 2012, enchanting audiences with her spiritual poetry. She is, committed to lots of social causes, as evidence her commission work with the 50th anniversary of desegregation by the Multicultural Alumni Association of A&M Commerce. Her poetry has been recorded and featured in lots of different venues, and she was invited to speak at the National Day of Prayer luncheon at the Texas State Capitol. So she is an amazing spoken word artist. Her motto is touch, move, and inspire. And we know that she's going to do that tonight, right?
Yes.
All right, V, you ready? Good to see you.
Same here, guys. Okay, can you see me? Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
See you now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself. It's a pleasure and honor always to see you guys and to be here. Like Tracy said, I didn't have anything. I was like back and forth, like I don't know what to say about this election, this time. The season is just kind of everywhere, and so I had to dig deep and think, what do I want? What is my hope for my great nieces and nephews and my nieces and nephews? And so I went to history. So the preamble to the Declaration of Independence states, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Well, I think that I want to add hope. See, I want my hope pinned to my chest with the courage of 1,000 dreams. I want my hope like a breeze moving through cracks in this cracked system, where promise meets reality but fails. It's got me wondering if this declaration is just ink on parchment paper or if it's a real battle cry. Life. I want my life, not just to be here or tasting morning coffee. I want to flirt with sunbeams in the sunlight. I want my laughter to race through empty rooms with the promise of hope. But instead, dark shadows dance in corners where hunger haunts and violence reigns, and I question who writes the rules, who gets to claim what is truth. See, I want my liberty. Is there anybody else out there that wants liberty? The freedom to say what you want to say, how you want to say it, where and when, to be authentically who you are. Well, for me, it looks like walking in spaces with my chin up, my chest out, and my shoulders back. But throughout the chambers of my heart, there are always these borders, these thick walls covered with fear and silence and hushes as I walk in these rooms, and it's covered with fear and red tape. Royce, raise your hand. Raise your hand if anybody can tell me who decides who is worthy. How about happiness? I want my pursuit of happiness. That bright light and faraway lighthouses like on the covers of those travel magazines, glimpsing through dark nights of despair. I question myself sometimes. Do I continue this pursuit? Because I feel like I'm running in circles. I feel like I'm running in vain. I feel like I am running out of time running. Running and happiness is always out of my reach. While that systemic chain of is securely latched to me, to my soul. When did the pursuit of happiness become a privilege and the joy of living an ancient practice? Listen, the preamble to the Declaration of Independent States. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, and you can say it with me, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right now, I think that we should all add hope. God bless you.
Could all add hope. Thank you so much, B.
That was,
Wow.
culture.
I
That was
know.
just as powerful as the first time.
Mhm.
We heard
Thank you. Thank you.
B, thank you so much.
We appreciate you. Thank you for
Mhm.
writing that very special piece just to celebrate our Hope for Harris campaign. Thank you so much, Brenda. Appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Aw.
Amazing, you guys. Amazing. I told you,
Mm.
just amazing. Thank you so much, B, for being here. You guys, we're on the tail end of this. I'm going to just put this up one more time for my cousin Stacey, and the Harris Victory Fund is on the right. She made it very clear if you go to the left that she's going to know you sent it and Kamala won't, is what she said, which is kind of funny. But you guys, we just want to thank you. Like, just thank you for being on this journey with us. When we decided to do this, we've never been in a space where we were in a, I guess, a political space like this. And so it was a big leap of faith and courage on our part to do this.
We had no idea
What to do.
what to do, how to do it. We just knew we had to start.
Yeah. We knew we had to do something.
We knew we had to do something.
And so we have, been making posts. We've had Mel, I think, who's here, who's orange hoodie and some chili, who's done all of our, arts
you,
and
Mel.
social media of flyers and how much we appreciate that. But we wanted to do something, and you all been along for the ride with us, and how much we appreciate that. And at the end of this, we got some really exciting
News.
We got new, well, 2 days ago, we got an exciting text about 11 o'clock at night. And
And you know, at 11 o'clock at night, it's either really good
or it's
or
not
it's
good.
not good.
This was really good.
This was really good.
So I look at my phone and I'm like, baby, we got it. I said, and she's like, what? And I said, I got a text. And it was from a contact who said, like, hey, listen, there's no guarantee, but I think you're going to get invited to the Creators for Kamala event in Houston. It's a rally, and there's gonna be something special for creators. We were like, what? Well, there's no guarantee. Don't get excited. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. So we're like, okay,
No,
that's
we start
okay. We're just
packing.
we're gonna manifest this.
We started
We
packing,
did.
deciding what we're going to wear.
So last night, you guys,
That was night before last.
yes,
Last night, about the same time, maybe a
Yes.
little earlier, but about the same time,
go ahead.
I was brushing my teeth.
And what happened?
And T came in. She said, baby, what? We're going to Houston. What else did you say?
And I said, we're going to meet Kamala.
We're going to meet Kamala.
So we are so excited that, first of all, that they chose us,
Yeah.
to be part of this creators space. I mean, we had to be vetted like by the Secret Service. So like, it's really big. So we're going to have the rally. We're going to go to that, but we're also going to be a part of a very intimate group of people that she wants to celebrate and thank for supporting her on social media. And, you don't do things like this for that.
No,
But we're so thankful.
no.
for that.
And then it just kind of all made sense,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
because, you know, from the beginning, we had we were producing a website, and then just so many different layers of support and information and things that we felt we would want to have, you know, as resources. And so we just started producing it, and without any clear vision of where it was going to go. And it's interesting because those are the things that we had to show them.
Yeah.
Basically, what have you done for Kamala? Well, we've done this, and we've done this, and we've done this, we've done this, and the list just went on.
And we talked about TC fam in
And
our little
see,
essay.
Pamela's in there, and yeah, so yeah, it all had a purpose. It all had a purpose. And yeah, so we're just overjoyed.
Yes. And we were going to Boston tomorrow. That was we were flying to Boston to spend time with some of our TC fam in Boston. And this came. So we're still going to Boston if you're here and we've
We're
not
just
told
going to
you
be a
yet.
little delayed.
We're just going to come Saturday.
Because
But
we have
we're,
to take pictures with Kamala and all.
yeah, like we had to get a flight today to Houston and get a room. And so
Yeah.
we're excited. And you all know we're going to be taking pictures and videos and all that. So you just hang on. But you all have helped make all this possible, you guys. So thank you, our webinar folks, and thank you to our TikTok
Yes.
and Instagram and all of our social media family. We appreciate you all, and we hope to be celebrating with you in a week and a half when we go live during the election results
And
to
we're going to
celebrate
stay live.
history the whole time.
We're
We're
gonna be
celebrating
live.
history on
Yeah.
Tuesday, November 5th.
Yeah, I think we have to have some people over.
I have a big party.
We have to have a big party.
That's a good idea.
Big party.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, you guys. Well, that's our time. Again, we appreciate you so much. Thank you, Myneca. Thank you, B, for staying a little bit longer. We appreciate you. Love y'all.
Thank you,
And
Stacey.
go Kamala. Go Kamala. Bye, you guys.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.